Big picture question: what's different this year than last year? What's making the difference?
I think a lot. I think you look across the landscape of college basketball. It's almost impossible to win with young players, with true freshmen. So I think that's one. Our freshmen got older and got better, and then we did a good job adding pieces in the portal that were older, that have experience. Our guys that were here last year, Dawson got better. And then you add Parker Fox and Isaiah Enan, guys with experience that are older, that are now able to play. Just it completes your roster. And so I think that's the biggest difference. Coaching matters, but players make a difference. And you got to have good enough players, and you got to have depth if you want to be successful now.
Did you kind of learn how to recruit the portal as you kind of went through time? Or how did you kind of land on these guys that are helping you more this year, it seems like?
Yeah, no, you have to learn how to figure out the portal as far as recruiting goes. I found that out my first year when, they were all portal guys. You figure out quickly, like, all right, what can fool you? Because it's a quick recruitment. I mean, you're looking at, could be weeks. Like if a kid's ready to make a decision, it literally could be a matter of weeks where you got to figure out, all right, what's their game? What are they good at? What are they bad at? What's their personality? What's their makeup? So you try to do as much homework as you can to figure out that piece, because that's obviously important. And then you just try to watch as much tape. And then the hardest part is you're recruiting the portal, hoping that the team you're recruiting them to stays what you think they are, like intact. Because you could get a kid and then lose one because of that. And so now it's like, okay, I took this kid for a reason. Now it's going to look a little different because maybe you lose a part that you thought would go well with this particular player. So that's the hardest juggling act, is that, all right, you recruit a portal, but the portal is fitting in need of what you think you have on your roster. So now you're trying to figure that out of like, all right, for what I have today, yeah, this could be a great need. But if you lose a kid in a week or two, all of a sudden a good piece then might not be a great piece that fits. But we knew that we wanted to, increase our perimeter. So that was a good fit with Elijah and Mike, and add depth to that and add playmaking. We knew what we had with Cam coming in as far as just skill level, and it's kind of just what you try to do.
But I think the best example this year of the balance you guys have came in that Maryland game. How do you feel like you guys have been able to use that to your advantage?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I used Maryland as an example last year. I just felt like every time we played them, you looked over and some new group was checking into the game, and it was just like firepower after firepower, just different lineup, and they just overwhelmed you with just rotations they could have. And I just felt like, man, if we could somehow steal that philosophy a little bit, I think it's to our benefit. And I told our guys it doesn't always happen early in January because most people, knock on wood, are healthy and feel good. The depth really comes into play, in my opinion, in February and March, when the grind of the season really takes a hold of teams and stuff happens, as you guys know. That's when we've got to be able to rely on our depth and rely on guys that have extended minutes, and hopefully those minutes mean that we don't have guys playing consistently over 34, 35 minutes. So you can hopefully remain healthier longer. But I thought that our depth, our ability to play different styles, I've kind of tweaked a little bit too, of like we could also go small ball with some teams now that Braden's back, because of his versatility as a defender, and be able to play, quote unquote, four guards in the big. But I think us having the options to be able to adapt to anything, whether it's playing two bigs or not, hopefully will help us down the road.
It seems like the Maryland game really kind of came down to free throws. How do you kind of like your team's progression in that aspect?
I like it. Like every team, we shoot a ton. I mean, these guys are in here every day. We kind of got a mandatory number they need to hit. But from a player standpoint, it's totally different shooting it in here or shooting it in an empty Williams Arena when there's not a scoreboard, there's not fans, and there's not like game pressure. So what you want to do is you want to be able to get to a point where they're able to make them in that environment, because that's what builds confidence. It's not, here it's good, and again, they'll develop a routine, but they need to see it translate in meaningful game pressure type minutes. But our guys know now that like free throws obviously matter. They can win or lose. Like there's a small margin for error in all these conference games. You don't want to lose a game because you're not confident at the line. And so it's just getting guys more comfortable up there and letting them see it go in.
Along those lines, what is the concern with Pharrell, with the way he's shooting, and whether you can keep him in for late game situations?
Yeah, again, I think it goes back to it's not because of not want to. I mean, he's in here more than anybody, and he knows it. That's no secret. But I think it's just getting him to see that one or two go in. And I think that's huge. It's so important for a player to go through the success of that. And so I just think it's a matter of time before they start falling. Again, it's just it's embracing the moment almost and being able to block out whether you're home or you're away and just focus and not let nerves take over, not let your psyche take over, get out your own head. Again, it just sees that one to go in because you want to be able to play him at the end of games. I mean, he's a force. So until then, probably go offense, defense, which is what we've kind of done. Play it from there.
Indiana's got a couple good big guys. I mean, what's key to slowing them down on Friday?
Yeah, really good bigs, and they do a really good job of playing through their bigs, whether it's man or zone. I mean, that ball's going inside, and those guys produce, and so we've got to do a good job. We've got to be physical early. We've got to do a good job of just forcing tough shots. I mean, because of their length, especially where he can shoot over the top, so you got to be there with a presence. Renaud is just he's a little bit like Dawson. Those lefty guys, they always get left, no matter what you say. And so we got to know that. You got to know scouting report. But I think early, it's not letting them get into a rhythm early. I think will be big for us.
When you have some early success like you have so far, especially with these last 2 wins, I don't know if expectations change yet, but it kind of feels like the conversation and the narrative is changing. Where do you sense that's at right now, just in terms of externally and even internally?
Yeah, no, I mean, we always want to win, so it doesn't necessarily change for us. I do hope externally people, like what they see and they come out and support. Cause I'm like a broken record. It makes a difference. You watched the Rutgers game last night. Nobody wants to go to the RAC and play them. Nobody wants to go to Nebraska and play Nebraska. I've lived that firsthand. And so for our fans to understand that they do make a huge difference, and it's obvious, in league when you just watch these games that environment matters, and momentum is a big part of winning basketball games, right? Being able to flip it or maintain it, and the home crowd helps with that. And it's you don't want it to be a neutral site feeling, especially in league play. And I thought our fans were great last game. They gave us a boost. I thought the numbers were great, but they're knowledgeable. They get into it when we need them to get into it. And I thought that was a factor that really helped get our guys kind of over the edge and be able to push it out. So just keep hopefully the outside energy is good and they like what they see and they come out and support.
Yeah, there's no secret that you got a lot of Minnesotans on your team. What about the state right now that you think is producing a lot of talent? You've been for a while. You're doing well with St. Thomas. There's the #1 team in Division II right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
So it's just the fact that you're not relying totally on Minnesota kids, but
yeah,
you do have quite a bit of talent on this team from the state.
Yeah, I think our state's always done a good job of just developing basketball players. I think it starts at the youth level. I think we have really good coaches from youth league to junior high to high school. AAU programs across the state do a really good job teaching and coaching and not just going out there and, letting it rip. And I think, our guys at the next level have done a good job of making basketball important and getting better and understanding kind of what impacts winning. And so, I think our state across the board, regardless of level, does a good job of just playing good basketball.
Could you be where you're at without your Minnesota guys? I mean, across the board, you got guys coming off the bench, you got starters, you got.
Yeah, we got 2 guys signed coming in. I think our league traditionally, when you have really good in-state talent, it helps. When I was rolling, they have probably really good in-state talent that year. Not that they can't get it from outside, but same with us. When we're a really good team, you have that year, that couple years, really good in-state talent that hopefully you're able to keep home. Recruiting is so hard. If you have an advantage of being able to go 20 minutes or an hour or 2 hours to get a really good kid, and you're able to do that helps your program. So yeah, no, we're big fans of the development here and want it to continue. And yeah, no, our program's going to always recruit the state hard and figure out the best fit for us.
And what have you seen in the last couple games specifically from Elijah?
I just think his development and more like just his maturity with his game. I think he's just coming into his own with understanding just confidence-wise, his ability to make really good plays, especially when he plays slow and he develops and he reads it. He's so fast. I think initially it was like, you're 100 miles an hour all the time. And now it's developing that pace that he's got. And I just think his confidence and his pace combined with his speed has really just kind of changed things for us a little bit. And he's finding guys, and it's funny, when the other guys know you have a willing passer, they cut a little bit harder, they run a little bit faster, they'll find ways to get open because they know if they do, he's going to find them. And so I just think it's kind of trickled down to everybody, and it's really helped our offense.
We put your finger on the success you guys have had in second halves.
That's a good question. I think some of it, like the Maryland game, I really do believe it was we had to go through a first half where there's a different type of energy in the building and a different type of expectation. And guys feel that. They can deny it all they want. I know they do. And that's part of it. Like, we haven't gone through that, but that was a meaningful game. And I think everybody kind of sensed it. It's like, man, if they could win that game, that's a lot of momentum. Well, we haven't experienced that. So we had to kind of go through it. And it's the tightness of, all right, you still got to be able to play free, but knowing that there's expectations. And I think after halftime they were to kind of take a breath and, figure that out. I think it's like on the road, Ohio State, same thing. We got off to a slow start. It was our first road game in the Big Ten. And so there's a lot of intrepidation with, okay, what is this going to be like? Well, we're able to go to Michigan and be competitive that first half because that anxiety is gone for Elijah, for Mike, on all the way on down, Cam, those new guys. They knew what it was. So now it's like, all right, you're able to withstand that first half, and then the second half when it's winning time, after you found your rhythm, now you're able to just go and play. And I think that's the biggest thing is getting our team to a point where we've got enough experiences where nothing phases you, and now you can just go play. Now you can worry about just winning the game, right? So at Indiana, I addressed it right away. I said, this is going to probably be the best environment we played in, right? We have to find a way to not have that impact us the first 4 minutes and have the oohs and the ahs. There's going to be, 14, 15,000 fans. They're going to be crazy. They're going to be loud. There's going to be a momentum play. Try to get them to understand that now and say, all right, we don't want to battle that and have the big eyes that first, 4 to 8 minutes. But unfortunately, we still got to go through it. So it's experiences when you're dealing with a new group. And again, I think we're where we're at because we responded, to our loss versus Missouri. We learned from San Francisco. We learned from Ohio State. I don't think we're where we're at if those guys didn't see that on film and kind of hit in the face with that and said, you know what, he's right, we got to change, because it can be kind of fool's gold when you don't get kind of smacked in the face a little bit.
Do you like the starting lineup that you have where sometimes maybe there is a little bit of a slow start?
Yeah, I don't mind. I got confidence in all our guys, so that doesn't necessarily matter to me. My biggest point all the time is the mentality. And what is our mentality? Whether you're a starter or you're a sub, you need to have that right mentality. I need to see that look in your eyes that, you're ready to roll. And again, it doesn't matter if you're a starter, it doesn't matter if you're getting 30 minutes a game. If you don't have it, I'll make change. And so they know that you're trying to build kind of that warrior spirit at all times, regardless of who you are. But mentality with us is such a big thing. And I think, we respect every opponent. You do your scouting, you do your due diligence. But at the end of the day, I've learned with this group, if we're not right, it doesn't matter. We're talented enough where if we are right, we can make a competitive game out of it. So a lot of times now it's I'm worried about, what's our mental state? Are guys foaming at the mouth, ready to roll? Is our mentality right? Are we confident? Because if we check those boxes, then I think everybody in our locker room feels pretty good.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it.
And, you know, you talk about the way this team has been playing lately. How does that confidence just carry over to Indiana?
A lot of confidence. You know, we feel like we're playing at a high level, so we got a lot of juice and confidence. And you know, going into every game, we feel like we can win the game. And so I feel like that's a great thing to have as a team. And so we're just continuing to attack these days and just get better and better each day.
What's the difference between, you know, the record-wise, but difference in this team as opposed to last year?
Yeah, I'll really just say we hold each other to a much higher standard each and every day. You know, we got guys, you know, that are encouraging each other, but also, you know, if a guy's not bringing it, or if he needs to up the level, you know, he's gonna hear it, and I think that's a big time difference.
Are you talking about leadership?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who are the best leaders besides yourself?
Yeah, I would say Elijah's done a great job. Mike's done a great job. Jack on the bench has done a great job. Fox has done a great job. Zay. I mean, I could really go down the list. You know, I'm probably forgetting a couple of names, but I can just remember recently in games and stuff, you know, E and Mike coming up to me and just, you know, getting on me, whether it's what they saw or what they wanted me to do better. And so, you know, typically I didn't have that in the past, people coming up to me player-wise and getting on me. So, yeah.
Dawson, what was your takeaway from the balance that we saw against Maryland? I mean, you were in foul trouble early, Pharrell as well, but so many other guys were able to step up and get a win.
Yeah, I mean, we're a deep, balanced team. You know, it could be a different guy's night each and every night out. And so just finding different ways. Our big thing as a team is just finding different ways to impact the game, impact winning, because that's all that matters going into each and every game, and trying to figure out, you know, what can I do to help us win and throughout the game as well.
How do you think?
What has Elijah changed with the offense? It just seemed like last year you didn't really have a true point guard, and he's kind of becoming one of the best in the Big Ten right now. What has he added to the offense for you?
Yeah, he just brings a whole different dynamic. You know, he's like a jet. He's able to punch the gaps, get in the lane, create a lot of offense, and create a lot of stuff out of nowhere a lot of times, which is big time for us.
Ben said that when you have a guy who's kind of hunting assists, that the offense guys cut harder, set harder picks. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, playing with a guy like E, you know you can get a bucket at any given time because he'll find you even if you don't even know you're open. So it's great playing with him, and I just look forward to the continued success that we're going to have.
How do you guys navigate? Sometimes you're talking about like players came to you. It's good of you to say that they came to you and you didn't take that personally. You didn't take. How do you guys navigate that? Because sometimes if players are trying to pump each other up, that can go the other way. But for you guys this year, it's not. It's been a positive.
Yeah, because I think it's all because we have a common goal and we all know that we just want to win. You know, I mean, human nature is it would be easy to give into. You know, if a guy got on me for me to be like feel some type of way about it or maybe not try to respect what he's saying. But I understand what we're trying to do, and that's just win games. And so I'm playing with a bunch of winners, and so that's our main goal.
Coach Johnson was talking about learning to play with, you know, expectations are changing maybe a little bit. How do you think you guys have responded to that and will continue to respond to maybe more expectations?
Yeah, I think we responded well, and I think our response will continue to be well just because we've always had the same mindset, you know, just trying to eliminate the outside noise and just, you know, at the beginning of the season when we were ranked low and not too many people were talking about us, and now is that having a little bit of success and winning some games and people are starting to talk, just keeping the same mindset and just going out and playing hard and doing what we do.
Has anything changed in how you guys think of yourselves? I mean, when you've had success, does it change how you think of yourself?
Not necessarily just because it's a day in, day out thing. Obviously, you have a lot more confidence. The mood's a lot better. You know, winning fixes a lot of things. And so, but just coming in every day and putting in the same amount of work and keeping the same level of confidence and keeping the same level of respect for the game.
Dawson, what do you think of the wrestling belt that's given out after games and kind of acknowledging guys that are glue guys at times to help out the team?
Yeah, I love it. I think it gives us just an extra incentive, you know, for guys to go out there and, you know, try to get that belt and try to take it from each other. So I think it's a great tradition that we started.
You obviously have Minnesota, and there are a lot of guys on this team from Minnesota. You've seen where the program was before and how people are reacting now. What does it mean to you that, you know, you're seeing people talk about the program the way you are as a Minnesotan? Yeah,
it means everything just because we're just trying to and getting it back where it needs to be. And that's just a big time feeling to have, you know. There's no better feeling than winning and having that fan base behind us and everybody behind us. And so we just look forward to the continued success and continuing to up it every single day.
Doesn't happen overnight though, but obviously the fans are starting to come back a little bit. I mean, you know, the Iowa game is right around the corner. Maryland game, did that factor in the crowd a little bit to how you guys played?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps, having fans there, and it's like home court advantage is a big thing. When the barn's rocking, it's a tough place to come in and win for opposing teams. So I think that the more and more fans that we get behind us, I think only the better we're going to be off.
How have you seen kind of the camaraderie develop among the team from the first game this season to kind of where you guys are at now?
It's come along great. I just think back to Winners Week. We had this Winners Week where we had a whole week of hard conditioning every single morning, and then the last day we ended up sleeping at Williams and then getting up at like 5:36 to get it started. And I actually slept on the court, and my air mattress deflated, so I was sleeping on the hardwood throughout the night. So I was actually pretty sore when I woke up to finish up that last day. But I just think about that. We really bonded and got closer during that time period, and I feel like that just trickled down to everything we've done moving forward and thus far.
Do you think that kind of grit has like translated on the court?
Yeah, because winning's hard, and just the more hard things that we can do as a team and the more that we can put ourselves through to simulate game time situations in the Big Ten, I think the better that we're going to be. And so I think that it's helped a lot.
Indiana's got a couple good bigs. What's going to be key for you guys to slow them down?
Yeah, it's going to be a team effort, just playing physical and playing our game. We feel like we match up well with anybody.
Indiana's a basketball state. People might say this is a hockey state, but what do you think of the talent here compared to like the hotbeds of like Indiana?
Yeah, I think for a while it was slept on, and I think over the last couple of years it's beginning to get more and more recognized, which I think is a great thing. And because obviously I love the state of Minnesota, and I just feel like it's becoming more and more recognized as it should be.
Anything else for Dawson?
Thanks, Dawson.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.